I like washers in my EDC knife because they're more durable and easier to clean. Well, I like bearings in my EDC knife because they're more fidgety and smoother. Washers, bearings, washers, bearings. Arrgh. Guys, don't you know SRM has both? Check it out. What's up, Cripple Crew? EDC with DBD, disabled but deadly, and today we're going to cover not one, but two SRM EDC knives. We're going to be talking about the 7228 Rubic, which is an integral design running on bearings with some of the best crossbar action I've ever felt, and the 261M Cub, which is a fantastic work knife running on washers. Before we get into these though, stab that like button, like you mean it, /subscribe. I'd love to have you here, and you're not going to want to miss all the dope knife and EDC content coming your way. Also, drop a comment below. Let me know what's in your pockets. Alright, so I reached out to SRM a while back and had dialogue with them about some different knives, and they asked which ones I would like to check out, and this one was out of stock for a while, and while I was waiting for it, they dropped the new Cub, and I really wanted to see this one when I saw that they had a San Mai laminated 140 CR blade, because I've never experienced 140 CR. So you know what? We are going to start with that one. And that one is this box right here. The 261M, and then GB2 is the black with the 140 CR black wash blade. So this knife here is definitely not nearly as fidgety as the other, but that's because it's running on those phosphor bronze washers instead of bearings. It's still very easy to manipulate one-handed. I can thumb flick it, and the reverse flick is money. Open, we are looking at an overall length of 7.09 inches or 180 millimeters. And then closed, doesn't list a closed length, but the blade length is 2.87 inches or 73 millimeters of 120 thousandth blade stock of laminated 140 CR. And what this is this is giving us a very high carbon cutting edge with a lot of wear resistance and edge longevity, while we are getting a stainless jacket that's going to be not only add corrosion resistance but toughness to the overall blade. They say that the 140 CR is similar in performance to S35VN when it comes to edge retention, toughness, and corrosion resistance, which would be fantastic at the prices you see this knife for. So currently it's going for about $64.95, $65, but I've seen it on sale and posted it recently as low as $40 at Chicago Knife Works, or $42. So even at $65, if this were S35VN, if it said that on the blade, this would fly off the shelves. So we've got a modified sheepsfoot with a nice big opening hole, which not only makes it easy to flick open, but it also helps reduce the weight And then along with that, for weight reduction, we've only got partial liners. And let's see if we can show that. So we've only got partial liners back there that run diagonally like so. And then back here is just G10. And then we've got a G10 backspacer. So that reduces the weight quite a bit as well. It brings this down to only 2.64 ounces. And it's very easy to throw in, if you're wearing sweats, if you're wearing shorts, anything you don't want to weigh down, you could throw this in there. It's nice that definitely deep carry, tip up as the gods intended. And it is reversible, which is nice because crossbar locks are ambidextrous, especially when you've got the blade hole. Makes it easy to open or close left or right-handed. So perfectly ambidextrous knife. This blade with that tall flat grind comes down to a very, very sharp and slicey edge. Whoops. This came very sharp out of the box and so far has maintained that fine edge, even though I have been using this trying to see what that 140 CR is going to perform like. I've been impressed with the 140 CR so far. I did find, as I was trying to research this steel, I found a knife and steel blog online where a guy had the same question. He saw this knife listed, said, what is 140 CR? Saw that SRM says that this gets you the performance of S35VN, but at a budget price. So he bought one, and he did extensive testing on it. And he said that at least the sample that he received when he purchased did perform very similar to his S35VN blades. And if I can get that kind of performance at $65 or sometimes less than $50, that's a pretty good deal. So ergonomics on this is set so that you can get right behind the blade, and we've got usable jimping midway up the blade, allowing you to lock into this handle for long cuts. If you're doing extra long cuts through, say, long cardboard or anything like that, this is going to pass through there really well. And it's a mild belly, so you're not going to be slipping out of it. Even though it's not a very neutral handle, I can still turn it around to cut straps pretty comfortably. In the beef jerky Avenger, I am capped off and quite a ways away from that blade. And in beef jerky Defender, also I feel very secure and capped off. So and this peel ply texture on this G10 feels like even if I had a little bit of beef jerky juice on my hands, this knife isn't going to get too slick. We are centered. See if we can get to the pull up. There we go. We are centered, and lockup is fantastic. Very strong crossbar action. And I can still whip it open and close with one hand. This handle works very well, even though this is kind of a schmedium size at just barely over 7 inches. Because of the way this choil is set up, I do have a full 4-finger grip behind that pivot, but choked up is where those grooves really fit my hand very well. This was built for this, and also very comfortable in the pinch grip. So with that very low tip, very easy to make utility and drag cuts. So one of my favorite blade shapes is sheepsfoot / Warncliffe's, for the same reasons. That low tip makes any type of utility cut very easy. So it's a very good EDC shape. If you're looking for I mean, if you're looking for a new EDC knife and the fidgetiness isn't your concern, you're looking for something that's going to last, something that's tough, something that is going to be a little easier to repel grime than, say, bearings, I definitely think it's worth checking out the Cub. Even at the $65 price, it'll be linked below. That's very fair. But if you see it on one of those $42 sales, definitely a great price. We do have a lanyard spot back here in this back spacer. I didn't point that out. So, the Cub, great little work knife. Its big brother here, the Rubic, has some of, if not the best, crossbar action I have ever felt. It is tuned to perfection for that big blade, whether I'm using the reverse flick or the thumb studs. You can't really get to that fuller very well, but I can, whoops, when my finger's out of the way, reverse flick off the edge of the blade. There's plenty of blade to grab to be able to reverse flick, but those thumb studs are placed perfectly. Then this crossbar, the spring on it is tuned so well that even horizontally, if I pull back, the blade goes away. It goes home. I have very few knives that I can do that horizontally with the crossbar, and it'll put the blade away by itself. Any angle, I pull that crossbar back, the blade goes back. I don't have to whip it forward. This has one of the best tuned crossbars. Then we get into the ergos. So, this knife, also rocking their ambi-lock like the Cub. The Rubic is quite a bit bigger at 8.1 inches overall, or 207 millimeters, with a blade length of 3.4 inches or 87 millimeters. So definitely quite a bit bigger than the Cub. But this is rocking their mono chassis liner, which is an integral liner. Makes this an integral knife. It's one piece of steel folded over to make the liners, and then this has G10 scales over the top of those. This acts as a full-length backspacer, so anywhere that I'm grabbing on this knife, that back edge is very comfortable. There's no pinch spots because of that taco style chassis. This is the first, Real Steel also does some of that. SRM has a couple of other with the mono chassis design, but this is my first experience with it, and I really do like the comfort that it adds in the back side when I'm gripping. And then we've got a nice G10 backspacer. One of the awesome things about this pocket clip, because this is, of course, being the ambi-lock, just like the Cub, this is ambidextrous. But this one is even easier to change this awesome deep carry clip. All you have to do is pinch and slide it up, switch it to the other side, slide it down until the click, and now it's a left-handed knife. Whoop. I'm not a left-handed person, but there we go. That easy. Want to switch it back, pinch, slide it up, switch it over, pop it down. It's got nice retention, and it goes over that G10 really well, so it goes in and out of the pocket very smoothly and carries very deep, as you can tell. Do have a lanyard hole in the back for the lanyard lovers. And then, if I remember right, this one, we are looking at T8s all around on everything but the thumb stud. Yes, T8's on everything but the thumb stud. What about this one? T8 pivot, T6 body screws. Okay, so with the Rubic, you are looking at T8 hardware all around, and then no tools needed to swap that. The mono chassis also makes it very easy to maintain this knife. These bearings that this is running on are very, very smooth, and that big blade just whips out. Again, we're looking at 120 thousandths blade stock thickness with a high flat grind. And again, another example that SRM knows how to sharpen a knife at the factory. This blade is in 14C 28N, which is one of my favorite budget steels, as it's a good balance of toughness, corrosion resistance, with decent edge holding capability, but easy to maintain. You can keep 14C stropped up pretty easily without having to sharpen it for a while. I really like the looks of this drop point with the swedge up front. It makes it look really sharp. The jimping, again, very usable. And this being a larger handle, I've got plenty of room to grab, whether I'm behind the pivot or choked up right behind that big blade. I can really get some control over this blade in this position here. Still works well in the pinch grip, even though the tip on this is above the pivot. It's not quite as easy to get down. It does give me some belly to use for cutting, say, rope on a flat surface. Easy to turn it around to cut some straps, and we do have a long straight edge here for that before you'd slip out. Beef Jerky Avenger is so comfortable, and I'm capped off over the butt of that blade. And Defender. Both feel very comfortable, both feel locked in. Quite a bit of added space between me and that blade. I like the logo on the pivot. I think they could do away with all the other branding they do. So we've got Stay Ready for More on this side. We've got Stay Ready for More on the back of the frame. And then we've got the model number. And we've got a serial number plus Sandvik 14C28N. And that's not all, folks. We also have SRM on the pocket clip. Normally, I can't stand it when they put on the pocket clip, but at least that is very minimal. That doesn't bother me, but it's kind of funny. I don't think it needs all the rest of the billboarding. But other than the billboarding, I have nothing negative to say about this knife so far. I love the T8 hardware all around. Our plunge grind starts and ends back here. So we do have plenty of life to sharpen off, just like we did on the Cub. I love that mono chassis design, and I think their pocket clip, even though I don't need to switch it, is a fantastic idea. This has been one of my favorite crossbar knives to carry. I do like the extra size because it's, prior to this, my largest crossbar knife was the Kaiser and Dirk Pinkerton Escort. I'll give you a size comparison. There's the Escort. And how about a bug out? There's a bug out. So you can see the SRM is quite a bit bigger. I'm going to put, while we got the bug out up here, let's put the Cub back out. And we can see that the Cub is slightly smaller than the bug out, while the Rubic is definitely larger. How about one more size comparison? There it is. let's go with the CJRB Bowie Pyrite. Very, very similar handle length, just a little bit longer on the blade than the Cub. But as you can see, still quite a bit smaller than the Rubic. The Rubic is going to come in much closer to, say, the Para 2 or PM2. Very similar in length to the PM2. There's a good idea for you. So, full size EDC for sure. PM2 sized, yet very easy and comfortable to carry. Nice slim profile. Overall, I'm enjoying these SRM knives even more than I expected to. This guy is going to get put through some beating to see how that 140 CR holds up. But so far, it's maintaining its fine edge even with the work it's been putting in. And I have a feeling this guy will get a lot of carry just because not only is it fun and fidgety, but I love the full size, getting a full size knife that is, you know, a much easier package in the pocket than, say, a PM2. Also, with those white scales on it right now, almost toes the line between an EDC and a gents carry. This one does come in at 3.99 ounces, so it's definitely heftier than this guy, but it's still less than 4 ounces. Easy to carry. I'm enjoying both of these so far. I will let you guys know if I see either of them drop back down again. Oh, this guy also normally $65. I'm going to list a Chicago Knife Works link. It's on sale right now for $50. I have no clue how long that's going to last. So if you don't take advantage of it, don't be mad at me if you check and it's gone. But right now, $50 instead of the usual $65. I definitely think 14C20N and an integral frame with an ambi-lock, definitely worth $50. Let me know what you guys think of these. I hope everybody is recovering from Helene and Milton. Keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers down there. Everybody stay safe, stay frosty, stay deadly.